Hey everyone, it is Dani and welcome to this update video. And so in this video, we will be talking about these three systems. So we have newly formed tropical depression number 5, as well as these two disturbances, Invests 91 and 94L. And so today is also the 1st of September. So happy September to you all. I wish for you all a very prosperous and a wonderful month. And so before I go into details with these systems, Alright, and so let's go ahead and start off with Invest 94L. So this disturbance is located in the vicinity of the Cabo Verde Islands, and so the formation chance has decreased to 30%. So it was at 50% at the maximum, but now the formation chance is decreasing because the window of opportunity for us to see development of this is closing. So it is going to be encountering unfavorable conditions very, very soon, and that is going to be preventing the system from intensifying. So it might become a brief tropical cyclone, but it is not expected to be very major out there. And so looking at it on satellite, we're seeing here that we have this blob of shower and thunderstorm activity associated with it in the vicinity of the Cabo Verde Islands, and it is likely bringing some inclement weather to portions of the archipelago. And so not much expected from that one, but let us go ahead and move on to newly formed tropical depression 5. So looking at tropical depression 5 on satellite here, we see that it is getting better organized here. So it's having an asymmetrical presentation here on satellite. However, as time goes by, it is expected to remain in conducive conditions, and it will likely be intensifying. And it is expected to become not just a tropical storm, but a hurricane. So let's go ahead and take a look at the National Hurricane Center's cone forecast for it. And so we're seeing here that little motion is expected during the next couple of days. So we're expecting that it's going to be moving very, very slowly. As a matter of fact, right now it is moving to the east-northeast at just 2 miles per hour. That is an extremely slow pace up there. So it's going to be loitering around for some time before it starts to move on a general northeastward track. And so it is expected to become a hurricane, as I said, maybe a Category 1 hurricane at the max. And you might be thinking, it is so far up. Why is it going to become a hurricane? It is very high in latitude. So we'll be taking a look at the ocean temperature map very shortly, because that plays a huge role in its intensification. But for now, looking at the model intensity guidance here, we see that we have quite a bit of models available, and majority are expecting that we will in fact have this eventually becoming a hurricane. Most keeping it at a Cat 1. We see 2 going up to a Cat 2 and 1 going up to a Cat 3. I really don't think that this is going to be intensifying into a Category 3 hurricane, but these systems, they surprise us sometimes. So we'll really have to wait and see what is going to be happening. And so taking a look at this map here of the sea surface temperatures, and so taking a look between say 20 and 40 north from 40 west onwards, we are seeing that we have favorable ocean temperatures, and tropical cyclones need just about 26.5 degrees Celsius to intensify. And so we're definitely seeing that in the vicinity of the depression, and that is going to be aiding in the intensification of the system. So ocean temperatures are generally above average this year in the North Atlantic, and with that more extensive area of favorable waters, then we're going to be seeing stronger systems being high in latitude. And so now going on to Invest 91L. So Invest 91L is still given that 80% chance to possibly develop into a tropical cyclone during the next 5 days. So the chance has been constant at 80% for quite some time now, and we're seeing here that portions of the northeastern Caribbean are now being in the shaded area. So I would say that even though that general northwestward motion is eventually expected of the system, if it is disorganized and we have a lot of shower and thunderstorm activity being associated with it, it could bring a lot of increased precipitation to some of the islands of the northeastern Caribbean. So just something to pay attention to right now. There's no guarantee that this is going to be bringing any major impact, and as a matter of fact, it'll be struggling to keep itself together. Let's look at it on satellite, and we're seeing here that we have this area of disorganized shower and thunderstorm activity, not see much rotation at all with the system, and it is really struggling, as I said, it's struggling to get itself together. And the reason for that is because of the marginally favorable environment that it is currently in. So let's go ahead and take a look at this water vapor map. And so there we have 91L, and those yellows indicate dry air, and so it is literally being sandwiched by dry air. So once we have that dry air infiltrating approaching the system, it is going to be resulting in decreased shower and thunderstorm activity, which in turn is going to lead to less intensification. It's going to be struggling even more out there. So that is something that is up ahead for it, and I really don't think that we will be seeing much intensification while it is going to be in this unfavorable environment. However, looking at the wind shear map, we're seeing that there is some conducive shear which is marked by the green that is noted in the vicinity of the disturbance, but there is that unfavorable shear marked by the red that is up ahead for it. So let's see if it is going to be persevering and making its way up to the north of the Eastern Caribbean and intensifying in that region. So only time will tell, but the chance stands at 80% for the system. And let's see if this is going to manage to become a depression over the next couple of days. And I should make mention of something very important, guys. And so this is a timeline of the hurricane season. And with August ended with no tropical cyclones developing, this is the first year since 1997 of this occurrence. So 1997 was the last time before this year where we had August and there were no tropical cyclones whatsoever. But here we are 1 day later, the start of that peak month of the hurricane season, and we have tropical depression number 5 expected to become Danielle. So with this year being a La Nina year where the wind shear is usually more conducive across the Atlantic basin, we should definitely look forward to seeing more tropical cyclones because conditions are just expected to be conducive. And the main inhibiting factor of tropical development this season has been the dry air. And once we have a reduction in the dry air, then it is likely that those waves that will be emerging off Africa will be in a conducive environment, keeping that the shear is also conducive enough. So we'll definitely have to be looking forward to more activity as time goes by. And as I speak about that, let us go ahead and talk about what the Climate Prediction Center is showing. So this is a global tropics hazard map, and so we are looking at week 2 here. So we're focusing on the Atlantic basin, of course, and where we're seeing that red and white striped area along with that green and white striped area, there is a moderate confidence for the development of a tropical cyclone. So a tropical wave will be emerging off Africa in the next several days, and so models have been picking up on this one developing. And so if it is going to be making its way into the Caribbean or not is not really something that is known as of right now, but a high pressure system that is strong is going to be steering the systems on a more westward track, which would put the Caribbean at risk. And so guys, we are now approaching the peak of the hurricane season, which is just several days away. So let's see what is going to be happening in the next couple of weeks. But again, it is likely that we're going to be seeing an increase in tropical cyclone activity, and so I will be keeping you updated as time goes by. And so that is really it for this update video, and if you found it to be quite informative, please give a thumbs up, and you can share your thoughts in the comments or as a question. I'll try to respond as best and as soon as I can. And of course, remember to always be weatherwise.